is a cornerstone of Ghana's agricultural transformation. Through effective regulation, strategic partnership, and targeted investment, TCDA is positioning the tree crop subsector as a driver of value addition, industrialization, export growth, and sustainable livelihoods. The ministry remains committed to supporting TCDA to ensure that Ghana's tree crops, from cashew to shea, become engines of national prosperity, contributing significantly to GDP growth, foreign exchange earnings, and the well-being of our farmers. Now, $1 million USD revolving fund unveiled to strengthen agricultural development in northern region. To ensure the sustainability of ongoing agricultural interventions in northern Ghana, the ministry has operationalized a $1 million revolving fund to provide low-interest financial support to value chain actors across the agricultural ecosystem. The fund is designed to enhance access to affordable credit, particularly for smallholder farmers, women, and youth, enabling them to expand their operations, improve productivity, and invest in modern farming practices. By facilitating continuous reinvestment, the revolving fund serves as a financial lifeline for producers, input dealers, aggregators, and processors within the Northern Savannah Ecological Zone. Through this mechanism, the ministry seeks to strengthen the financial resilience of farming communities and to ensure that beneficiaries of donor-supported projects such as Savannah Investment Program and the Global Agricultural and Food Security Program, GAFS, continue to thrive even beyond the project life cycles. This initiative forms part of government's broader commitment to building sustainable and inclusive rural economies, ensuring that progress in agricultural productivity is matched by improved access to finance and enterprise growth opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, 20 million agro-input distribution project launched under the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program. Under this program, additional financing to the Savannah Investment Program to boost food and nutrition security has been secured. I personally launched this program in Tamale some few months ago. Under the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program, GAFS, additional financing to the Savannah Investment Program, government has launched a 20 million agro-input distribution project aimed at boosting food and nutrition security across the Northern Savannah Ecological Zone. The project, implemented in 12 districts across 6 regions, Northern Savannah, Northeast, Upper East, Upper West, and OT, targets 50,000 farming households, including 30,000 women and youth. It focuses on the production of key staples, maize, rice, soybean, cowpea, and groundnut, and promotes year-round vegetable cultivation through solar-powered micro-irrigation schemes for farmer groups and selected schools. To strengthen the poultry value chain, the project also supports both household and commercial poultry production. This includes the distribution of 50,000 4-week-old guinea kits to 5,000 households for backyard poultry products or production. 50,000 14-week-old pullets to 500 female farmers for egg production, and 50,000 broilers and 50,000 guinea fowls to commercial poultry farmers at a 50% subsidy on day-old chicks, complemented by feed, vaccines, and medication. In addition, the project facilitates the distribution of critical fertilizer and seed inputs to participating districts, including 46,400 bags 50 kg of NPK fertilizer for maize, 1,080 bags, 50 kg of fertilizer for rice, 5,200 bags, 50 kg of fertilizer for soybean, 23,740 bags, 50 kg of urea, 15,460 bags, 50 kg of organic fertilizer for vegetables, 4,400 bags, 50 kg of rice seed, 520 bags, 50 kg of soybean seed, 100 bags, 50 kg of cowpea seed, 5,000 bags, 50 kg of maize seed. This comprehensive support package is a testament to government's commitment to enhancing productivity, improving livelihoods, and ensuring national food security. The initiative, implemented with the technical support of the African Development Bank and generous funding from GAPS, represent a strategic scale-up of proven interventions under the Savannah Investment Program, fully aligned with the Feed Ghana program and Ghana's food system transformation agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, these initiatives collectively represent not just a reset, but a resurgence of Ghana's agricultural sector. We are rebuilding the food systems from the ground up with resilience, sustainability, security, and equity at the center. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me also indicate that the Nkukon Ketenkete program has attracted a lot of support. The European Union has given us 150 bears, 150,000 day-old chicks to support the Nkukon Ketenkete program. 150,000 of them. Now, conclusion. The road ahead for agricultural transformation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the past 10 months have been a period of urgent action, bold reforms, and determined implementation. Under the visionary leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the Minister of Food and Agriculture has not only diagnosed the deep-rooted challenges of our agricultural system, but has also begun the necessary groundwork to restructure that system for the future. From institutional farming campaigns, farmer cooperatives, irrigation development, value addition, agricultural mechanization, to weather prediction systems, the ministry has laid the critical cornerstones for a resilient, productive, and inclusive food economy. Ladies and gentlemen, our work is far from done. Ghana still imports what we can grow. Our rural youth still migrates in search of jobs that agriculture can provide. Our farmers still face risks that can be prevented with the right investment, tools, information, and access. And our economy remains vulnerable to external shocks that a strong domestic food system can buffer. That is why the ministry's focus over the next year will be on the following key priorities: consolidation and expansion of Feed Ghana interventions, including scaling up irrigation and mechanization coverage, deepening the integration of farmer cooperatives into all service delivery models, operationalizing the full chain of local seed production, certification, and distribution, strengthening agricultural research and innovation systems by modernizing our research infrastructure in partnership with CSIR, bridging the gap between research findings and field application through better resource AEs and digital platforms, public-private partnership for agro-industrialization to expand the investment pipeline under SIP, SADEP, and other frameworks, promote inclusive value chains that engage women, youth, and smallholders, climate resilience, and sustainable land use for rolling out climate-smart agricultural technologies across all districts, and leveraging digital tools and remote sensing for land restoration, planning, and resource optimization, job creation and youth employment, entailing the acceleration of the National Service Agripreneur Track under the Feed Ghana program, transitioning of successful service personnel into long-term agribusiness ventures and the public sector, digitalization of agricultural services for operationalizing agricultural data systems to support farmer registration, traceability, subsidy targeting, and market access, enhancing real-time data sharing among key stakeholders through digital dashboards and MIS platforms. My brothers and sisters, in all these endeavors, we remain guided by the vision of the President that agriculture must no longer be seen as a way of life, but as a business, a strategic growth sector that will drive employment, industrialization, and food sovereignty for Ghana. On behalf of the ministry, I wish to assure His Excellency and the good people of Ghana that we are committed to delivering results with urgency, integrity, and accountability. We are fully aware that the mandate we hold is not just administrative, it is generational. It is about transforming the fortunes of our farmers, empowering the youth, reducing our import dependency, and ensuring that every Ghanaian child, regardless of where they are born, can access nutritious, affordable, and locally grown food. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me end by thanking all our partners, bilateral and multilateral institutions, traditional authorities, farmer-based organizations, private agribusinesses, and most importantly, the Ghanaian farmer whose resilience continues to inspire us all. Let us move forward. Let us move forward, not just with policy, but with purpose. Let us feed Ghana. Let us eat Ghana. Let us restructure agriculture. Let us transform our economy. And let us build the future together. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Well, that, by every indication, was a very comprehensive briefing, which has touched on just about every aspect of the agriculture sector. At this juncture, we will zoom straight into a question and answer session, so that if journalists present have any questions regarding the presentation made by the minister or any other matter relating to the sector that he heads, they may step forward and ask those questions. So as is the usual rubric, identify yourself and then go straight to the question. Because of time, you will be restricted to just one question, please. All right, I'll give you a special dispensation, being the first to come to the microphone. So please pull it up. And then, yeah. All right, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Everything that has been said here is geared towards. My name is Ethia, GBC. Everything that has been said here is geared towards increased food production. What is the ministry doing about provision of storage facilities to avoid food gluts or post-harvest losses? And let me chip in this last one. Honorable Minister, for about 3 or so days now, there's been a video trending on social media of a young man believed to be an NPP activist in the studio of Wood to Me. And he's somebody who's obviously not convinced about the success of the Koko Nketenkete program. And his view is that even if he succeeds, they will import diseases and hawks to scuttle the program. If this has come to your attention or not, what do you tell Ghanaians who are skeptical about the success of the Cocoa Nkete? Thank you.
Well, on that one, I think that there's a difference between skepticism and outright comical conduct. So we can excuse the latter and focus on the more serious matters.
Right.
Yeah.
My name is Wisdom Pedejum. I work with TVXYZ. Bit of update. Now, you talk about constructing or building a poultry processing factory in Bechim. I want to know about the Pualogo meat factory as well as the tomato factory, the update on that. And then update on the pump machines that were handed over to you by the anti-galamsey task force, NIMOS. I want to know update on that, how you're going to use it. And very finally, okay,
All right. Yes, next person. So we'll take just one round of questions, please. So everybody who has a question should step up. And once the minister answers them, that will be it. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Honorable, my name is Julius. I report for the Ghanaian Times.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I would want you to break down what you call Ghana Food Brigade for us. And then, if the two phases of the poultry revitalization program comes into force, when do you estimate that Ghana will be completely poultry sufficient? Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Please pass it on. Pass it on. We'll replace it in a jiffy. Sorry for the technical hitch. All right. Sorry for that interregnum here.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Maxwell Agwagwa. I work with Joy FM and Enjoy News. My question is about the elephant in the room. For some days now, farmers have been complaining about the grain glut. We know that government provided 200 million Ghana cedis for the food buffer stock company to buy the surplus. An additional 100 million cedis was also provided to buy the surplus. I want to find out what is the update on that. One, what criteria is the Greek ministry using to buy the surplus from the market? How much surplus have we been able to buy from the market? And then additionally, this morning we had the issue also about an egg glut, a complaint being raised by the Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association. And then my final question, if I can ask, a lot of interventions are being rolled out by this current government. Akoko Nkete Nkete, you've talked about the ITA and all of that. I want to find out, when do you anticipate that Ghanaians are going to see the seed that has been planted? When are we going to see it bearing fruits in terms of reducing our over-reliance on imported food? Thank you
very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel Romeo Tete, and I report for Ahonto FM. Please, my question is, given that illegal mining has degraded farmlands in many parts of Ghana, including cocoa growing regions, how is the ministry working to protect agricultural land and support affected farmers? Thank you.
So we'll take the last question from Hanan.
My name is Abdul Hanan Adam. I work with the EIB network. Minister, my question ties in with Romeo's question regarding cocoa production. The president was in Côte d'Ivoire or Abidjan in the very first 3 months of his administration during the African Development Bank's conference. And he said that Ghana, under his administration, is looking forward to surpassing neighboring Côte d'Ivoire in terms of cocoa production and the establishment of cocoa processing factories in the country. I want to find out from you if the vision of the president is something you are aware of, and where are we with regards to ensuring that Ghana becomes the leading cocoa producer and surpasses Côte d'Ivoire in that regard. And to tie into the question about illegal mining and whether the data is in front of you, and how do you intend to collaborate with other sector ministers to ensure that we are able to safeguard cocoa farming in our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the minister would answer these questions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Felix. The first question was about storage. And the questioner indicated that throughout the presentation, he did not hear about storage. I think I mentioned storage, but I think I have to elaborate on interventions to provide storage facilities to enable him have a better appreciation of the presentation. Now we are looking at the entire value chain. When you produce, you have to store it, process, package, distribute, and then you market it. So you look at the food from the production point until it gets to the table for consumption. Now storage, what are we doing? Before the production season commences, we ask the National Food Buffer Stock to expand storage facilities ahead of the season. In fact, the West Africa Food Buffer Stock also came in. They are moving from Burkina Faso because today, because of the turbulence there, they can no longer store their food there. So they came to us. We gave them some of our storage facilities that are not functioning for them to rehabilitate and then make good use of that. Even as we speak, WFP is in Tamale working on one of the biggest storage facilities for us. So we are expanding our storage facilities. We are also aware that there are a lot of private storage facilities around. We have some in Eastern region, some in Sunyani, and many other places. And so storage is an important aspect of the Feed Ghana program, because once you produce, you should be able to store. Then again, the National Buffer Stock has a responsibility to step into the market, mop up the excess, store them, and release in times of emergencies. And so certainly if they don't have storage facilities, they cannot do that. So storage, we are doing very well there. And then on the issue of people attempting to destroy the Nkukwan Kitinkiti program, some even contemplating on importing some kind of diseases to just frustrate the program. We want to assure everybody here that we are monitoring every step on the way. We will make sure the program becomes a success. And let me indicate to you, before scaling it up, we have done with a pilot system. And under the pilot, we did so to be able to appreciate the challenges that will emerge when we scale it up. So we now know what is going to happen, and we are put in place the necessary mechanisms to ensure that the program becomes a big success. What we expect from the people of Ghana is that we are solving a challenge together. It is not about who is in charge. It is about a problem confronting all of us. We spent $400 million to import poultry from outside to supplement local consumption. That $400 million creates thousands of jobs in that country at the peril of our own youth. So we are only trying to say that let's produce it locally, save the $400 million, create jobs for you, your children, your grandchildren, your siblings and neighbors. And you are saying that this should be destroyed. Certainly, we will protect the investment. Then on the issue of Pualugu tomato factory and then the meat factory, the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness, and Industry is working seriously on the meat factory. For the Pualugu tomato factory, we are working with FarmMate to bring it back. In fact, we've started a lot of things, and immediately after the Farmers' Day celebration, I'll personally go with FarmMate to Pualugu to look at what we can do finally to bring Pualugu on board. I've already indicated that even the share factory that was collapsed in 2019, we have brought it back within 10 months. Because we believe that if we want to create sustainable jobs, we have to bring farmers and then the processors together. It is that strong marriage that can produce jobs, sustainable and gainful jobs for the youth of our nation. And then, update on the water pumps. I think the task force fighting against Galamsey confiscated these items. And in consonance with the law, they went to the court for an order to dispose of the items. The court directed that those water pumps should be given to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to support the implementation of the Feed Ghana program. Initially, we received 900 water pumps. And 3 days after that, we distributed the 900 to 9 regions in our country, 100 each. So 3 days after that, we did the distribution. And we didn't do it on the quiet. We brought the media to extensively cover it. Probably my brother was not there to be part of it, but the news was everywhere in this country. In fact, last week, they brought us additional 250. And this morning, we have started the distribution. It is believed that by Friday, every single one of the pumps will be on the field to support our farmers. So we are only serving as a conduit. As soon as it comes to us, we send it to the farmers to make sure it impacts on food production. Then the issue of when are we at the food brigade, first food brigade, that we should throw more light on the food brigade. The food brigade is very, very important for us because we have already indicated that we do not have enough extension officers on the field to work for us. And so we are recruiting 400 of them as coordinators to form the food brigade, the National Food Brigade. They will be deployed to the various districts to work under the district agricultural directors. They will be given motorbikes, they will have tablets, we will have direct communication with them wherever they are. Because as we speak now, under the decentralization law, all our directors down there are part of the district assembly. And it is difficult for us to even get information from them when we want the information. So we want the National Food Brigade to fill the gap for us. But they will be working under the district directors. In fact, we are almost done with the interviews and everything. And within some few days, you will see action of the first ever National Food Brigade being established after Nkrumah's era. Their duty is to go down there, be with the farmers on the field, help them to modernize agriculture, to ensure sustainability, because the resources we are using today must be preserved for the future use of the upcoming generation. Then there was a question on poultry sufficiency, that looking at the investment we are making, when do we think Ghana will attain sufficiency, self-sufficiency in poultry production? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are not operating in a vacuum. We are being guided by a document which captures all our programs. In fact, in this document, we have dissected the challenges confronting agriculture in Ghana. We have preferred solutions, and then we have set for ourselves targets every year what we seek to achieve. This is what we call the Feed Ghana document. We started it with a technical team put together to generate the document. When the document was ready, we brought all stakeholders together to validate the contents of this document. The validation workshop, which lasted for 3 days, was done, and then after that, the World Bank voluntarily decided to print the document free of charge for us. So this is our garden document. Now, when you look at page 47, our targets for the poultry subsector is captured. And I want to read something small for you to understand. In 2025, this year, our self-sufficiency level is 12%. Now, we targeted 2026, we said we'll move it to 25%. 2027, we'll move it to 48%. 2028, we'll move it to 76%. And in 2029, Ghana will have 104%. But when you look at what we are seeing on the ground, the enthusiasm we have generated, and the participation by the private sector this year, we are likely to go beyond our target of 25%. So at the end of the day, we will use the figures to compare with our targets to see where we got more than our target and where we fell short. So from this document, clearly, we envision that latest by 2029, Ghana will be full self-sufficiency in poultry, will be self-sufficient in poultry production. And so we want you to take note of that. Then the issue of glut on the market. There was a questioner who wanted to know the impact of all the measures we are putting in place. And then another questioner talks about glut on the market. Glut means that we have overproduced. We have produced more than what the market can take. And this is as a result of the investment, of the campaign that we embarked upon. Let it be noted that in the agricultural space, what government does is to create the enabling environment for the private sector to operate. Government creates that atmosphere that induces private sector participation and investment. Now we have produced maize in excess of what Ghanaians can buy. And the price of maize, that used to be over 1,000 Ghana cedis last year, is now being sold around 300 Ghana cedis. In fact, last week, a chief from the north came to my office and said, in his area, the bag of maize is being sold at 200. So buffer stock should intervene immediately. The same with rice. Surprisingly, even onion. We are told that over 3 million cedis worth of onion got destroyed on the market because people were not buying. In fact, women in Volta region have given us their word that we should stop the importation of onion because they can produce enough to feed our country. It's not only about the cereals. It is widespread. I mean, there's a glut everywhere. Yes, even the egg glut, you mentioned it. It's true. The Greater Accra poultry farmers wrote to me indicating that, Honorable Minister, every year between August and October, we experience glut. But what we are seeing today, we haven't seen it before. It has gone beyond October. And from the signs, it appears it can go beyond February. So if government does not intervene, all that we have produced in terms of eggs will go waste. Immediately, we inform Mr. President, and a directive has been issued that the Ministry of Education should step into the market, buy the eggs to support the school feeding program. And so, yes, there's a problem. But let me indicate here that during the beginning of the season, we anticipated that there will be glut on the market. But we were unable to anticipate the quantum of glut. And that is why, for the first time in our 2025 budget, we provided for 100 million to enable buffer stock step into the market to buy the excess. That 100 million was exhausted within 3 days. In fact, when I visited the buffer stock warehouses, I saw the grains, the rice, the maize, the gari, all there. And we still have so much on the market to clear. We informed His Excellency the President, and he's made available additional 200 million. So buffer stock is now going through the procurement processes. It's government money. You can't just step into the market, put the money in your pocket, and then start buying. So they are going through the processes. When they are done, they will get the licensed buyers to be on the field to buy the excess for them. We have also spoken to WFP. They are talking to their counterparts in other areas to see what they can do to mop up the excesses. We have also invited ECOWAS, because they also have a responsibility to maintain strategic reserves against emergencies. So ECOWAS will be meeting me tomorrow to see what plans they have to also be part of the process. We are also speaking to our colleague ministers in West Africa and then Africa. Some of them have shortages, and they want to see what they can do to buy to support their storage of cereals in those areas. But this is the first time we have experienced such situations, glut in over 2 or 3 decades. And so we have some challenges this year, but next year we'll be able to overcome the situation, because right after the approval of the budget, we are going to work on our silos, put in place permanent structures to ensure that we are able to contain such situations. Then, talking about reducing poultry imports. Looking at the figures I've given you, we have a department called SRID, Statistical Research and Information Directorate. At the end of the year, they will go to the field. They will gather information to inform us on the quantities of rice, maize, whatever that was produced in the system. Now, we are doing around 12%. So thinking about placing a ban is anachronistic. We have to scale up to, let's say, 80%, thereabout. Then you say that now we have the local capacity to produce enough, so let's restrict import. What we are doing now is to educate our people, that the Ghanaian people must understand that if they don't patronize what is produced here, there is no way our businesses can expand and create employment for us. There's no way we can fight against poverty. So we must work together. Whilst we are working to increase production, the Ghanaian people must reciprocate our actions by eating what is produced in Ghana. And through that, we can secure Ghana. Then, how is the ministry working to support farmers who are affected by Galamsey? Let me indicate here that the fight against illegal mining is being led by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. But because of the negative impact of the illegal activities on agriculture, we are supporting them. We are supporting, but they are leading the fight. We have our extension officers on the ground, and our view is that the Ghanaian people must understand that the harm being caused is to ourselves. Because if the water is polluted, we will be affected because we drink from the same sources. You go to the rural communities, they live along the rivers, and the rivers serve as their major source of water for everything that they do. If it affects food, it's the same food that we eat. If we destroy the environment, it is the same environment that we are preserving for the future, for the youth. So why should the youth destroy a legacy that we want to leave for them? So if we get our people educated to appreciate that by that action, we are killing ourselves slowly, many people will abstain from that. When you do a comparison of life expectancy of Ghana and other countries, you get worried. You go to Europe, and their life expectancy is above 80 years. You come here, and we are talking about 60 years, 65 years. In some cases, you talk even about 56 years. So we have to put in place mechanisms to get our people educated to refrain from these acts. Then, when will Ghana overtake Cote d'Ivoire in cocoa production? Very important question. In the 1940s, Ghana was the largest producer of cocoa in the world. In fact, nobody thought that Cote d'Ivoire will one day overtake Ghana in cocoa production. But they took over, and the gap is too wide. While they were producing beyond 2 million tons, we are struggling to hit 1 million. In fact, the last time, we did less than 500,000. And so we have a long way to go. But His Excellency is putting in place mechanisms to address some of the challenges in the cocoa sector so that we can entice a lot of the youth into the cocoa business and ensure that we scale up production. Now, we are supporting the farmers with fertilizers, with pruning, with a lot of things that they have to do, educating them to ensure that we maximize production from whatever we have now. But I must indicate that in recent time, we are seeing a development. Many people are coming into the cocoa sector to do cocoa plantation. Some came to us, they wanted to do 10,000 hectares in Volta region. They have secured the land. Their concern is that they want to produce the beans and then use it to do their own processing here. Because if they want to get the cocoa there, they cannot get it. So they are coming to produce, and then they will buy their own cocoa for their processing activities. In fact, when you look at the whole of Africa, and even the world, Africa produces 70% of the world's raw cocoa beans. But when it comes to the chocolate or the processing industry, our share is less than 5%. Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire alone produces 60% of the world's raw cocoa beans. Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire alone. But our share in the chocolate market is 1%. And that explains why our farmers are always poor. The chocolate market is estimated at $129 billion, and our share is just 1%. So what we have to do is to add value. When you add value, you increase the incomes, you create jobs, and then we maximize our benefits from that. So these are, I think I've answered all the questions. Is there any question I haven't answered?
All right, so thank you sincerely, Honorable Minister, for this in-depth briefing and the sheer quality of the answers that you provided to the questions that were asked. So on this note, we end today's program. I want to thank all of you for coming. See you next time.